Florida, Republican Congresswoman Cammack is here with more on this. Congresswoman, is this really what we should be asking of our military?
Oh, David, this is just chalk this up to another example of how bad this administration truly is at just doing the basics. And I agree with my friend Brandon Judd. You know, this administration, they said the quiet part out loud. They admitted to having a border crisis by having to put an all out for people who are, quote unquote, willing to serve. But what's interesting is that they to serve in the capacity under the law as it is laid out. They want you to serve Joe Biden's political agenda. That's real this is. Because if you ask any Border Patrol agent, they'll tell you they have been told not to do jobs, or they tie their one hand behind their back and they're expected to uphold the law while simultaneously breaking the law, because that is what Alejandro Mayorkas has done, as has Biden. David, you've heard me before. This is not the commander-in-chief. This is the trafficker-in-chief. And now they're asking our military to be complicit in this. It's disgusting.
Well, you know, another thing that Brandon Judd said, and he's right there in the border, by the way. He's not just a union official. He is a border agent. He said the border agents now are doing processing. I mean, they're not actually guarding the border because the border is open. What they're doing is just paperwork, processing stuff, when they're trained for something much more specific about guarding our border.
Yeah, absolutely. Been down to the border 5 times myself. I have worked shifts with Texas Department of Public Safety and our Border Patrol through the night. And each time I am in a different sector, they tell me the same thing, that about 40 to 60% of their workforce has been off the front line protecting this nation. They're basically turned into glorified babysitters and processing papers. It's just obnoxiously disrespectful to the men and women who put their on the line. They have signed up to defend our nation's borders and be that front line, and yet they are just processing people and catching and releasing per the policy of the Joe Biden administration.
And, you know, Congresswoman, this has got to be the last question, but Mayorkas also, by the way, it is now clear that he knew that border agents didn't whip those migrants in that famous picture, that he had information before he repeated the false claims that they did, and he refused to come out with it, just spread the rumor that was a lie. A lot of Republicans, particularly in the Senate now, calling for his impeachment if the Senate becomes controlled by the Republicans. Are you in favor of impeaching Mayorkas for what he's done?
Absolutely. Alejandro Mayorkas needs to be impeached for dereliction of duty, for lying to Congress. I mean, there's a litany of other reasons. He's come before my committee 3 times and lied every single time. This is what has to happen, because he needs to be held accountable. He has put our communities at risk. He's put the men on the Border Patrol at risk. He has turned every single town in America into a border town. And as a result, we have skyrocketing crime. We have fentanyl pouring across the border. These are things that are being handled, and there have to be consequences.
Congresswoman, great to see you again. Kat Cammack, we appreciate you being here.